Well, it's been far too long, so I thought we'd start with a market overview here. We've had a lot of action this summer. We just wrapped the G20, and really the trade war talk and narrative between U.S. and China has taken center stage. How do you think this plays out? Is there a resolution anytime soon?
Well, yes, they're going to announce something that's going to make us all feel good. That's one reason the markets are rallying now. But later this year or next year, when the economies around the world are getting bad, Mr. Trump is going to blame everything on the foreigners, the Chinese, the Germans, the Japanese, everybody. Then the trade war will come back, Daniela, and then it's all over.
So all the market euphoria is just all over?
Well, the bull market's over. It's been the longest in American history that we have not had a bear market. It doesn't mean it can't go on another 10 years. It doesn't have to end just because it's the longest. But we have huge amounts of debt. We had a problem in 2008 because of too much debt. Since then, the debt has skyrocketed. The next time we have a bear market, it's going to be horrible, compounded by too much debt and by trade war. Because Mr. Trump is going to come back. Mr. Trump believes in his soul and his brain that trade wars are good and that he can win trade wars. Mr. Trump knows he's smarter than everybody else, so he knows he can win a trade war. And it will come back strong. When the American economy gets bad eventually, he's going to blame it on trade and the trade war, and it's going to be terrible.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Is there any good in trade wars, Jim?
Well, I have never found any good in it. Maybe you have. And certainly some people benefit from trade wars. But the great vast majority of people in the world have never benefited from a trade war, other than a small minority who sometimes benefit. But if you know of a good trade war, please tell me, because none of the rest of us know about it.
No, you're the expert here, Jim, much, much more than I am. But I'm happy you brought up the point about the recession, because as you noted, this month actually marks the longest period of time the U.S. economy has gone without a recession. We're seeing the S&P at all-time highs, longest bull market in American history. Now, we know you've been calling for a stock market crash for quite some time now. So is it finally going to give? Is 2019 the year, Jim, that we see a major correction here?
Certainly by the end of 2019, I would think the things would be okay. But they don't have to end, Daniela. There's no rule that says just because it's been 10 years or 12 years, it has to end, except for the fact that the debts worldwide are building up. Now, Daniela, the way these things have always worked, in 2007, Iceland went bankrupt. Well, most people had no clue about that and didn't know or care. And then later, though, Ireland went bankrupt. A few more people noticed. A little while later after that, Bear Stearns went bankrupt. A few more people started noticing. A few weeks later, Northern Rock went bankrupt. Then people started catching on. Eventually, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. And by then, it was on the evening news all over the world. And everybody knew that there was a problem. Bear markets always work that way. They start where nobody's looking, and a few months or whatever later, everybody catches on. It's already started. We're having problems in some places now where nobody notices. Nobody cares if Latvia went bankrupt. Nobody cares if Turkey's collapsing, Venezuela, some Indian banks. People don't notice or care because they're not significant. But eventually, we're all going to notice and we're all going to care. Of course, then it's too late.
Well, that's a really interesting point and a good comparison to 08, Jim. And I want to talk about one of my favorite topics now, gold. And last time you were on, you were saying how the metal might actually turn into a bubble. And as you know, we've been having a very good summer so far for the metal. We've hit highs we haven't seen it in 6 years after being in no man's land for so long. So what do you make of the rally and the excitement that we're finally seeing back in the gold space now?
Well, I still own all the gold I've ever owned, but I still have not bought any serious gold for some time. I am still waiting for the chance to stock up in a big way. Yes, gold ran up a lot, made 6-year highs. It's been coming down smartly since then, but I'm still not a major buyer of gold. Daniela, if gold goes up and I never buy another ounce, it's okay. I'll be happy. But I'm hoping that there's a great chance to buy lots and lots of gold before this is over.
And I know you've always told me this in the past, that you would never buy gold at these levels. So during these rallies, you wouldn't touch gold. But would you be selling a part of your metal here?
No. I've never sold any. If gold turns into a bubble again, then obviously you have to sell bubbles. I hope it doesn't, because I want my kids to own my gold. Everybody should own some gold as an insurance policy, if nothing else. If and when a bubble develops, and it probably will, Daniela, because the world's facing gigantic problems in the next few years. If that happens, then I'll have to sell my gold, because you can, but you're crazy to hold on to any asset through a bubble. Once the bubble comes, I'll have to sell. But Danielle, don't worry. That's still a long way away. It's not happening this week. Don't worry.
Jim, what about silver prices? The metal just so depressed. Would you be stocking up on silver now?
Well, if I had to buy one, silver or gold, I'd rather buy silver. Silver's more depressed on a historic basis than gold. I'm not buying either in any serious way. Yeah, I buy these things and give them as gifts to people. But no, I am not buying serious silver or gold until there's a very sharp collapse, and it may not happen. But don't worry, Daniela, I still have silver and gold.
So is there anything you are buying right now, Jim?
Well, I'm buying, a Russian share I'm buying, which is collapsed. You know, when I can find serious disasters, I try to buy. I would like to be investing in Venezuela, but I cannot. I'm a citizen of the land of the free, Daniela, and we're not very free in America anymore, so we're not allowed. You probably can invest in Venezuela. I'd like to. I have learned that when countries collapse, normally if you invest when a country has a catastrophe, you make a whole lot of money over the next 4 or 5 years. But I cannot do anything in Venezuela now.
Jim, finally, before I wrap and let you go, many of our viewers and investors are eager to hear your thoughts and points of view. So what are you telling investors right now? What should they be watching?
Well, I would tell investors what I would always tell: be very careful. We are in precarious times. I've said we've had the longest bull market in American history. I don't see an end to it yet, except I do see signs in other countries that we're starting to see problems developing. I would suspect that sometime in the next few weeks or months, the bear market will come. But it may be 2020. I mean, it doesn't have to happen this year. I'm not short in any significant way. I have a few shorts. I always do. But no, I'm not selling short. But I would urge people to be very, very alert and aware of what's going on. Daniela, there could be great news coming. If Mr. Trump does something with the Chinese, the markets will love it. If he does something with North Korea, the markets will love it. But those would probably be near the end of the bull market. But I don't see that happening yet. Not yet.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Jim Rogers, I always appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's always great fun, Daniela. Let's do it again someday.
All right. Thank you so much. And if you have any comments or questions, you can tweet me at Daniela Cambone. We'll see you tomorrow.